Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Angela has that voice, right? Where it's like, you just, whatever she says is just amazing. You're like, oh my gosh, yes. She was talking to me, she was talking about me, and I was like, ooh, that girl sounds amazing, yes. Y'all, so Angela said I have 30 minutes, and the presentation that I have, usually I give in an hour, so we are gonna go fast. Because of that, I did something great for you guys, and it is this. So if you text INVEST1 to 44222, and I have my phone just because I'm about to do another activity in a second, but if you text INVEST1 to 44222, you will get this whole slide deck that will help you so that you're not like, oh my God, what did she say? I can't remember, oh my God. So you will get the whole slide deck. Also, I do longer webinars, so you'll also get a link to an upcoming webinar that I do as well. That way, you can have it for later, because I just talked to, remind me, I was saying it over and over and over again. Remind me your name one more time. Yes, Mr. George. I just talked to Mr. George, and he was like, Teri, the last time you did a webinar, I was trying to write so fast, and I couldn't keep up. And so I said, you know what, Mr. George, just for you, I'm going to give you guys the slides so you don't have to worry about that. So if you have your phone, you can text that now, or later, you can get access to all the slides. Good? Perfect. All right. Next, yeah, I like Prezi. Let me show you what it looked like all together. Ooh, ain't that cute? Y'all see I matched my slides? I know that's what you were thinking. But the one other do now that I want us to do is I know that I'm going after lunch, and I'm also going at about 3 o'clock when you're about to go to sleep. You know, the itis kicked in, but you couldn't really go to sleep. So now you're trying, but your eyes kind of dropping like. So can y'all stand up, and we're going to do a quick little do now. I want y'all to say hi to Instagram Live real quick. So just scream, clap, say hey, and I'm going to do a quick little walk. Okay, are y'all ready? All right. 1, 2, 3. Start cheering. Woo! One more time. Y'all ready? Okay, go. Yes. Perfect. All right, bye Instagram. Y'all didn't pay for a ticket, so we're going to let y'all go. Save, love, share. Okay. One other thing that you have is on every table, I put at the end of the table my card, so y'all can just pass that down. So people were asking me for that earlier. So now you have it all, and we can talk about charts. Are y'all ready? Yes. Yes. Okay, wonderful. Okay. Also, thank you, Angela, for even having me. You are amazing. This is amazing an event. So this is just wonderful. So thank you so much. Yes, let's give it up for her. As Angela said, quick introduction, but I got to go fast, so I'm just going to say a couple things, and then y'all can look me up. I've been trading for 9 years. Before that, I had a 10-year career in education. I did go to undergrad at MIT, and I went on this path of finance and business, but then I grew up in a situation where all of my family did service type of jobs. So my mom worked for the housing authority. I know I'm tired now. I need to work out. Okay. My grandmother, she retired from working on buses. So I always thought the most honorable jobs were working in things that were service-based. So I went into education because I thought, well, education and actually ministry too. I'm an ordained minister. How many people here from Dallas? Wonderful. So I'm ordained at Concord Church. Tomorrow they mad at me because I won't be serving communion. But I'm going to be here, and that's even better. But yeah, so I went into education and ministry, and I was called to teach young adults. But the thing about it is, when you're in those kind of fields, you just don't get rich that way. They don't pay a ton of money. So I always had to have my main job and then my side hustle. And for me, my side hustles were real estate, which I'm so excited they talked about it earlier, and then also investing in the stock market. But I got to a point where my job started being horrible, and as I told you all earlier, I needed an exit strategy. So then my side hustle became my main hustle, and I said, I'm gonna use this stock trading thing because I loved it, y'all. Like, I could talk about companies like men talk about flag football and what's that, fantasy football, and they know all the stats and they're trading people. I could talk about companies like that. Oh my God, did y'all see what happened with Apple? The new phone's coming out and now the stock is doing this. He said this about the trade war, now the stock is doing this. Like that's how excited I get when I talk about trading, so I wanted it to be my main thing. I was able to quit my job and start traveling around the world using trading. And the way that I do it is I trade for income. So we're not doing longer term investments like Angela was saying. I'm trading in and out of stocks on a regular basis so that I can make money to pay my bills and achieve goals. And that's what I teach other people to do. I will teach you how to afford to travel, how to pay down debt, how to replace your income using the stock market. Okay? And the way that we do that is using charts. So I'm going to give you up front the big 3 keys that we're going to learn, and then I'll teach you those things. So the first key, and let me get out the way, is charts help you time the market. So one of the myths, and how many people have heard this myth? You can't trade because you can't time the market. You got to do buy and hold because the market, it'll go down today, but tomorrow it'll come right back up. You can't time the market. Well, the truth is, if you use charts, you can time the market. I can tell you when to buy, when to sell, looking at a chart. So that's one of the reasons why charts are important. The next thing is charts tell you where the banks are buying and where the banks are selling. We want to follow the big money. So I'm sure you guys as investors have heard that phrase before, but it is true. You're going to be buying where the banks are buying and you're going to sell where the banks are selling. Okay? This is not a retail investor, how I feel today. Oh, I don't think this company is going to last. It doesn't even matter. You're thinking about where the banks, the big banks like Morgan Stanley, investment banks, where are they buying 1 million shares? What stock price is that happening at? Well, that's where I want to buy. Where are they selling 3 million shares? If they're selling 3 million shares of Tesla at $320, I'm not buying it at that price. I'm selling it too. Like that's what you find out with charts. Where are banks buying and selling? Last thing is that charts are the difference between a trend trader and a technical analysis trader, okay? And I'm going to tell you what that means in a second. Again, I told you guys, I'm telling you the big points up front and then I'll explain it. They're also the difference between a novice investor and a professional. If you go to somebody and they're like, oh, I've been trading a long time, but they never talk about a chart, then it's also, no, let me not even say that. But charts are the difference between a novice investor and a professional, all right? And by the end of this presentation, I want you all to be able to read this chart. Can you see? I know I'm in the way for somebody. All right, I'm going to be in the way for y'all so they can see. By the end of this presentation, you should be able to read this chart, okay? That's where we're going. That's what I'm going to teach you. And someone's saying, can you dim the lights a little bit? I like seeing your faces, but if it's easier for you guys to see, we can dim them a little bit. All right, so that was the introduction. Now we're going to go into the purpose of charts. All right? Now, in order to tell you about the purpose of charts, we're going to talk about determining the right price of a trade. And we're going to talk about what I just mentioned with the trend trading versus technical. Okay? And I'm going to give you a story. So with trend trading, this is me and my grandmother. I guess, can y'all dim it just a little bit so they can see this? Can y'all see this at all? Okay. I should have done a little zoom in. But what it is, just for those who can't see, this is my grandmother, and then this is me when I was a baby. I look like Leah in this picture. Hey! And this is my granny feeding me a big drumstick, which I don't think is really supposed to happen with a baby. But I think that was her version of a pacifier. Be quiet, eat this drumstick. Stuck on it. But when I was in high school, Google IPO'd. And what IPO means is that they were going public. They were allowing other people to buy their shares. And so I heard about this, and I told y'all earlier, I did this program junior year going into senior year, and they had shown me the Chicago Stock Exchange, so I was super excited about the stock market, but I still didn't really know what to do. But I knew enough that Google is coming out. I need to buy some Google shares. But see, here's the thing. I went to my grandmother, and I asked her if we could buy Google shares, but neither one of us knew what to do. Like, we didn't know how to open an account. We just didn't know what to do. So me, deflated senior in high school, I'm just like, okay, well, they said no. I guess the answer is no, I can't do it. But as a trend trader is you just find a company that you like, and then you invest in some shares of it, and your goal and whole agenda is just to kind of keep that long term. So that's what I would have done had I known what to do. That's what I would have done with Google. My grandmother and I, we would have just said, you know what, this is a good company. We're going to buy some, and we're going to invest in it forever. But we never really would have thought about the stock price too much. It was just the thought that this is a good company, and we'll keep it. Does that make sense? A lot of long-term retirement investors are like this. They're trend traders. They follow the trend. But when I decided that I wanted to quit my job and start traveling the world, and I needed straight income, I can't be a trend trader anymore. I can't just invest at whatever price. I need to be real particular about what price I get in and what price I get out, because I need to make money off of that exchange. Does that make sense? So, for example, if I buy something at $100, sell it at $150, I get to keep the difference. So I get to keep $50 difference. But if I get in too high, if I get in at $150 and it falls to $100, now all of a sudden I've lost $50. So I need to know better, when do I get in and when do I get out? Y'all following with me? Okay, perfect. Another important thing that you need to know, and I'm the type of teacher, just to give you guys a heads up, I am building you up to be able to read that chart. Okay, so follow along with me. I need to teach you some concepts, and then I can teach you how to read those candles. Does that make sense? So just kind of follow along with me. Another concept I need to teach you about, though, is the fact that the stock market is a market just like any other market in the world. So when I go to Africa, I'm Nigerian. Yes, and my sister in the back. Hey, girl, hey. But when I go to Nigeria and my dad and I go to the markets, we want to go and buy cloth. Do you all think that we ever pay full price for that cloth? No, it's a negotiation. You're negotiating. The key in a market is that I'm the buyer. I want to buy it real low. Somebody is the seller. They want to sell it real high. No, I don't know what they're talking about. But so now we're going to negotiate and determine a price, right? That's what happens at any market. You can go to the fish market in Australia. You can go to the cloth market in Nigeria. You can go to this market, which was in Thailand for me. Like, anytime you go into a market, you have a buyer and a seller, and you guys are negotiating on the price. What happens in the stock market is exactly the same thing. But many novices go into it thinking it's a grocery store, and okay, this is the price they said for this Apple stock. Well, I'm going to just pay whatever price they said, right? That's a trend trader. A technical trader says, no, this is a negotiation. I want to get this. This is actually Apple stock. So y'all can see up here, the symbol is Apple. At the time that I pulled this matrix, the price was $176. I pulled this matrix a little while back, so the prices are not exactly the same. But for a professional trader, I can see a matrix that looks like this. This side, where there's red, these are all the sellers, and these are the prices that they want to sell at. So, for example, this person is wanting to sell 1,000 shares at $176.71. This person over here on this blue side, can y'all still hear me? Sorry. On this blue side, these are people that want to buy the stock. And this is how many shares they want to buy at these prices. So this person over here, down here, wants to buy 6,807 shares at $17.46. So what's going to happen is just like in any market, you're going to have the buyers and sellers start negotiating, and the price that you all see on the computer is the price where they agreed upon a price. And they're going to be selling at that price because the buyers and sellers agreed upon that price. Does that make sense? So just like in any other market, it's a negotiation between buyers and sellers. And just like any other market, if we're negotiating, I want you guys to never pay full price. So what you're going to be looking for is, when can I get it at a discount? Here in Dallas, for all those in Dallas, I absolutely love the Dillard's Clearance Center. Has anybody else been there in Irving? That is my store. So I will go into a regular Dillard's, look around at all the stuff that I like, and then I will wait for it to go on sale and go to the clearance center to buy it. Anybody else wait for sales? Am I the only person that does that? Okay, good. So I'm not alone. You walk in, you be like, oh, that's too much. But you come back on like Labor Day, Memorial Day, any holiday, and you get that on sale. Well, that's the same thing that you're doing in stocks. You're waiting for it to go on sale. So I see, okay, and the way you do it is with charts. So that's why I'm explaining this to you. So I'll be able to look at a chart and say, you know what, I really want to be in this stock right now. I love the company, but the price is too high. I'm going to wait until it goes on sale, and that's when I'm going to buy it. Does that make sense? Are y'all with me? I'm trying to really give you okay, good, okay. All right, and then the question that you should ask yourself is, okay, I get it, Teri, you done told me about 15 times in 3 different ways because you like repeating yourself. Which I do, but I feel like that's a good learning thing. But okay, I get it that it's buyers and sellers. 10 minutes. Oh, y'all, I gotta go real fast. Okay. So with buyers and sellers, what if you knew the price that the buyers wanted to sell at, and you knew the price? You knew the price that the buyers wanted to buy, and you knew the price that the sellers wanted to sell. How would that impact your negotiation? And so that's what we're doing with charts. I'm going to show you how to figure out where, and the buyers and sellers for us are big banks. I said that before, but it's not retail. We're not thinking about retail. We're thinking about, where is Morgan Stanley, where is Wall Street, Goldman Sachs, where are the big hedge funds, where are they buying and selling? If you know that, then you can know how to trade. All right, let me move forward because she said I have 10 minutes. We already talked about this. Okay, this is something that I want to show you. I'm about to go into the candlesticks, but I just want to show you this one other concept. So, in investing, one other concept I'll put this on the mic. One other concept that you need to know is, well, how do buyers impact the share price? And how do sellers impact the share price? So I want you to think about it in this way. So think about an auction. We're going to think about buyers and how buyers will increase the price. If you go to an auction and there's something really valuable and you have a whole bunch of people that want to buy it, they will bid up the price, okay? So what will happen is something like this, and I don't want y'all to get sick and dizzy, but what will happen is this. So say you're in this auction and the bidding starts at $100, and the auction guy's like, okay, who wants to buy this at $100? And then everybody raises their thing. Then the next person, then he raises his price. Okay, what about 105? What about 110? What about 115? What about 120? What about 200? You know, like he'll keep going up until they get on a price where only one person is willing to pay that much. And that's where it'll stop. But if you have a lot of buyers and the price is low, they'll start bidding up the price. So in a second, when you see the green candles, that's what's happening. The reason why they're green is because you have a lot of buyers come in, and those buyers are pushing up the stock price, okay? Likewise, let's think about the auction on the other side. This guy is selling something, and he's starting out really high. But nobody wants to buy it because I don't know what this picture is, but nobody wants to buy it. So he has to start lowering his price. So For example, let's say that somebody's selling something, and remember we're talking about stocks. I'm just using other examples. But let's say, for example, somebody is selling a share of Roku. Roku right now is really high and expensive. So Roku right now is at like $94, and the price is starting to go down. What happened is the same thing as this. So the auctioneer, he starts at $300. Nobody buys it. So then he's like, okay, well, what about $295? What about $290? What about $285? So he has to keep lowering his price until he gets to somebody that will buy that asset. Does that make sense? So when you have something that's really high and a lot of sellers but very few buyers, the price starts going down. So this is what's happening when you see those red candles and the price is starting to go down. You know there's a lot of sellers right there, and they're selling the stock, which is making it go down. But they haven't reached any buyers yet, so the price keeps falling. Okay? So that's what's happening. Like, that's the mechanics behind these candles. And what will happen is when the buyers and sellers agree upon a price, this is when you're going to see a real small candle, because now they've kind of agreed that this price is actually about right. I want to sell it for $200. You want to buy it for $200. Let's make a deal. And that's when you're going to see those days where the stock price doesn't move very much. But that's because the buyers and sellers are in agreement. Okay? Now remember, I told you we want to find where the bank's buying and where the bank's selling, right? All right, now let's look at it. So putting all the pieces together, and the timer lady hadn't thrown me off yet, so that's good. So once again, if you see a candle like this, the concept that I just taught you says that, how am I doing? 5 minutes. Good, okay, I can do this in 5. I can do it. Whew. All right. So what this is saying, this green candle, anytime you have a candle, the two lines, one on top and one on the bottom, are either where the stock opened in price and where the stock closed in price. But if it's green, you know that it opened down here, and then they bid it up, and it sold up here, okay? If it's red, let me not fall off this stage. I know somebody was worried about that too. You were praying all day, Lord, please don't let her fall off the stage. But okay, so remember these lines tell you where price opened and closed. But if it's red, what's happening is that means that price opened up here, and then the sellers took it down and it closed down here. Okay? So this red candle is telling us that some sellers came in. This green candle told us that some buyers came in. These that didn't move very much told us that at this price, the buyers and sellers were about even, okay? We still know that on this one, price opened up high and closed low. On this one, price opened lower and closed higher just because of the color. But that's kind of, we need to know where the buyers and sellers are. All right. So now that I've told you what those candles mean, let's put it all together, and we're going to tell you the story of the candles while we look at a couple shares and stocks. All right, so where are the banks buying and where are the banks selling? You ready? All right, so here's a stock, and this one I believe is still Apple. Yep, this is still Apple. So I just showed you a matrix of Apple, but this actually is, isn't this crazy? So I took that picture of a matrix about, I want to say like 6 months ago. Now prices returned. This is why you should never feel like you're too far behind to get started, because the stock prices will go up and down and the prices will return, so you're okay. But let's do this. So let's actually start right here in the middle. So in September of 2018, we saw this big green candle. So what does this tell us? What is happening? Do we have buyers here or sellers here? Buyers. Great. Oh, y'all are a great class. So here we had some buyers. They came in strong too. Do y'all see the price started at about $200, and they bid it all the way up to about $230. So this is a ton of buyers that came into the market, and this is a monthly chart. FYI. So this is over a month's time. These candles have a month's worth of data in them. So over a month's time, these buyers came in strong wanting to buy Apple stock at this price. But then all of a sudden it stopped going up and we got here to this little bitty candle. What does this little bitty candle say? It says that the buyers and sellers are about to agree, right? They've kind of agreed upon a price. So at about $230, they thought, okay, this is about what the stock should be worth right now. Okay? But it didn't stay there. I feel like I'm in church. He got up, it didn't stay right there. So the stock was right here and it didn't stay there because the sellers came in. And what do all these red candles tell us? There was a lot of what? Buyers or sellers? Sellers. So right around this area at $230, the bank started selling the stock. And they sold all the way until about here. In this area, though, price came down. It stopped going down right around here, right about $150. And now all of a sudden you see these green candles come in. So the buyer started coming in. So looking at this chart, what we can say is we know that banks, because banks are the only ones that can move candles like this, we know that banks are starting to sell up here at about $230. And we know that banks are starting to buy down here around $150. And there's all kind of different, like there's more to this that I can share in my class, like more than 30 minutes. And I know she's about to tell me I'm at the 1 minute mark. But this is the basics of reading a chart. You want to know where are banks buying and where are banks selling. And then you can follow them. So now that we know that banks are selling at about $230, the next time it gets up here, which you can kind of see, the next time it got in this range, what should somebody have done? Sold, because this is where the banks are selling. And right around this area, look at all these sellers came in. So if somebody was here, a trend trader would have said, I want to get into Apple. Oh my God, I got FOMO. Gotcha. Oh my God, I got FOMO. I'm going to get into Apple. They up here at 220. When the banks are about to start coming in here and selling. No, don't do it. Wait until price gets back down here around 160, 150. This is where the banks are buying. We just identified that. So the next time that Apple comes back down, and actually it is coming down around this area, 150, 160, this is where I'd be a buyer. Okay? So this is how you read a chart. This, as a professional trader, is how I make $1,000 a day. I can tell where the banks are buying and where the banks are selling, and I can just follow the banks, follow the big money. And when you do that, you can start making some consistent money. Yeah? All right. Well, that's me. I know Miss Cassandra's going to come up here. But again, you guys have, if you texted that number, it asks for your email address. It'll email you all these slides so you'll have it. This was just a quick check for understanding to make sure you guys got it, but I think you did. And then this is my website, Instagram, and Facebook. But you guys have my card now too, so you have all that. All right, well, thank you guys so much for having me. I appreciate it. Sure. Anyone have a question? Okay, I saw like 4 all at the same time. What do I do, Angela?
She actually does have 10 minutes for Q&A if we wanted to. Okay, so we have time for 2 questions.
Okay. I saw one back there that was fast. Well, I saw one in pink that was fast, and then I saw 2 right. Oh, Mike. Uh-huh.
These charts, where are you going to find these charts?
Great question. So for free, you can access them at investing.com. Also, there's another app that I really love called the CNBC app. And I actually build out a watch list on there so you can put companies that you like on there. And then it will tell you not only their charts, but it'll give you like news about them. It'll tell you when their earnings are coming out. So I highly suggest to do a watch list in CNBC. And then you can look at the charts there. CNBC. It's the finance network of the NBC channel. Just make sure that when you do get those charts, you change it to candlesticks. The default is this like squiggly line, yeah, but change it to candlesticks so you can really start seeing what I showed you. Yeah? Yes, ma'am. Or I don't know where the mic is, but yes, ma'am.
Hi, I just wanted to know about how long do you analyze a chart before you decide to invest in a company? I know that the one that we looked at was over a 1 month period. Do you usually look at something over a 1 month period, a 6 month period, or?
Great question. So I usually do a daily time frame. So I switch the charts to daily instead of monthly. And then for my students, we look at 30 days worth of data in the beginning. And then once they're good, I tell them that they can look at the whole chart. They just need to find those patterns. And then they can kind of see where the banks are. Okay. 2 questions right here.
First of all, I want to commend you as a fellow educator. Your checking for understanding, your zoom down, and your engagement. Hats off to you. My question was, any event that you missed that point where you need to sell or you need to obtain, do you hold on to the next day? What's your exit strategy in the event that you missed that day exit?
Perfect question. So I actually have like a whole little thing on exit strategies because there's different ways that you can get out. But one thing I don't want you to do is just hold on while the stock is going down. I'd rather you get out of it, let it go down, and come back up to where you want it to be before you get back into it. Does that make sense? I just don't want you to ride it down. So many times, like even now, I'm sure there's some people that are like, oh my God, I just bought this stock last week and it's going down. What do? They start panicking and they do nothing. They just hold on to it while it's cratering. But then your account is going down and your emotions are sad. Like you're crying. So I'd rather you get out of it instead of just riding it lower and then get back in when it turns around. Does that make sense? Okay. Yes, sir. Yes, great question. My online course is always open. Once a quarter, though, I do live classes as well. So you can always go in, start the online course, start listening because it's videos, watching the curriculum, and then when I start live coaching, you can join those calls too.
So we'll probably have a Q&A with Teri, like a webinar. So every quarter I open up, which is when George was saying, like, I wrote so many notes. So every quarter I open up and invite Teri to have a class for our tribe. So you'll also get to experience her more there too.
Yeah. All right. All right.
And
it's up to you.
okay, she said it'll be quick.
Okay.
So this particular trading style. 1 second, their mic is coming so everyone can hear you.
This particular trading style is different than stock trading. So is this like an option set high, low?
Actually, this was stocks.
That
That
is-
chart I
it's
showed you was the Apple stock.
Okay.
So
But it's
I
at a different price though, right? So it's-
Oh, okay, yes.
Yeah.
So what it is it's stocks, but I'm waiting until the price comes to me. So
Okay.
it's the same way as when I went into the Dillard store and I saw it at this price and I was like, no, I'm going to wait for the sale. That's what I'm doing with this stock. It's still the regular stock, but I'm just waiting till the stock price comes to where I want to enter it.
Right.
And then when I'm in it, I'm going to wait until the stock price gets to where I want to sell it
Gotcha. But it's at the full stock price.
at the full stock
Okay.
price. Yes, ma'am.
All right, one teeny weeny.
There's 2.
The chart that you had that showed how many buyers at this price, how many sellers at this price, is that something that you created or is that something that you accessed?
Perfect. So that actually depends on your broker. So a lot of people might use Fidelity, Merrill Lynch, or that's Merrill Edge. It goes with Bank of America. They don't have that kind of technology. You need a more sophisticated broker. So the broker I use is TradeStation, and TradeStation, that's part of what you can see. Like you can pull up a matrix.
Cool.
Wait, can I make one point on this? If anybody's interested in my course, I'd say don't get into TradeStation until you join the course because TradeStation is actually a partner of my course and they're reimbursing 100% of my class. So join the class and then open the TradeStation account. Yeah.
And you do this daily. So you watch that daily and then buy and sell daily based on that.
I do, but it takes some time to get to the levels. So I'll draw the zones, but then I'm just kind of watching to see has price hit it. So I don't have to be staring at it all day. I'll just have some alerts, but I at least check it every day, but that doesn't mean I'm trading every day.
Great. And Teri is going to be tomorrow. She'll be at our reception this evening, so you can pull her aside then. And she'll also be at our lunch with the experts, so you can also sit at her table then as well. So thank you so much, Teri. That was great, wasn't it?
Thank you guys. Thank you all. Thank y'all. Thank you.
Awesome.